NCC. Hi everyone, we're starting. Great, super. 2 talks from the RIPE NCC and then a talk from Sawa Manus on IP over DWDM. So I'd like to kick off first of all with Alena, who's going to talk about the Finland Country Report from the NCC, which is a regular thing that they run whenever they attend a meeting and they do a local set of analysis. So, Alena.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me well? Great, thank you. My name is Alena Muravska. I'm the Program Management Officer at RIPE NCC. And today I'm going to present to you the Finland Internet Country Report. Actually, that's been a part of the Nordic Country Report that we had produced this year, last year, December. Before we jump into the report, I would like to say a few words about the Eurodic. As our colleague gave from ISO gave a nice presentation on Eurodic today, I personally participated there in a session on the resiliency of the Ukrainian internet. There I talked about the technical aspects of the resiliency, something similar that I'm going to show here today, but also about the power of the technical community, like people like you here in the room, and how they do everything to keep internet running. So I hear a bit of background noise here. Is it when I'm talking? No? Is it okay? Okay.
No, well, we're getting a little bit of the sort.
Yeah, so I hope it's not too annoying.
Alexei?
There is a bit of sound distortion when I'm talking.
Yes,
Yeah.
So let's see if we can do this closer and then turn that down.
Okay. I don't want you to be, oh, now it sounds even better, to be too tired.
Try again.
Okay. No, it's still not. I can use just the other mic, the normal mic, if it's easier. But I think it's good now. No, it's still not.
One more.
Okay. Can you hear me well? No, it's give me just a normal mic.
Okay.
And,
It's not
so,
distorting, but...
yeah. Like that. Okay. Is it on?
Try again.
Yes.
Hello?
You need to
I
Can
turned
you
up.
hear me now? No.
It is on.
It's on?
This is still so.
Can we turn the headset off, please?
There we go.
On the board.
This doesn't seem to be working at all.
Working for me.
This works.
I need to put it back because I wasn't. Yeah, that's okay. Sorry. Is it working? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So where I was, the Eurodic. So today you heard that that's important for technical community to be at such events, and unfortunately technical community is very much underrepresented, but I think it's important that people who do the policy on the internet also remember what is happening with the internet. So, and now let's go closer to Finland. As I said, this report we produced in December 2022, and I'm wondering if someone in the room already seen it. Oh, great. So I hoped that some will be, but it's good that you haven't, so that should be interesting for you today. So why we produce such reports? So we know that internet is, of course, it's a global network of networks, but each country has own particularities, and because every country has different geography, economical situation, politics, and it does shape the situation with internet in the country. Why we don't do per country, we do per region. First of all, because we want to cover all countries in our service region, but also it's always good to compare how your neighbors are doing. We all love that. So you will get insight into that today too. Before I go to explain what we see from the RIPE NCC measurement tools, just a bit of generic information. So as you see, Finland is the first country in the European Union by Digital Economy and Society Index. So this is a great achievement, and I believe each of you somehow contributed to this result. So I would like to congratulate you on that. And as you see, the score is quite high, even in comparison to the average in the EU. But of course, there are some challenges. So Finland is aging connectivity and a bit behind in the fast broadband and in the high-capacity network coverage. So it might have something to do with the geography, and this country is quite big. But Finland is ahead in mobile broadband use and in 5G. So let's start with like this household. So we are in the RIPE NCC, we run the RIPE database, we distribute IP number resources. So if you look at IPv4 holdings, we can see that all Nordic countries had quite a steep and steady growth until 2012. And I'm wondering if any here in the audience knows what happened in 2012 with IP addresses. Alexei?
They ran out.
They ran out, exactly. So since at that time, the community also, people like you in this room, they implemented, we implemented the RIPE NCC. They came up with a new policy that was allowing only new LARs to receive a very small amount of IP number resources. Before that, you could receive as many as you needed, so you had to prove a need. Because the Nordic countries and also Finland were like the early adopters of internet, Finland has a very high number of IP addresses per person in the country, which is 2.5. It's a very high number, however, like Sweden and Norway, they have even higher, like 2.9, which is incredibly high and good. If you look at consolidation, there is some in Finland, not that much as, for example, in DK. But you can see here 3 biggest IP resources holders in the country. IPv6 is a bit different. So IPv6 is quite low. However, you also see a bit of different trend. Starting from 2012, you see the growth in IPv6 in the country. And the reason for that is also in the policy. In 2012, people thought, okay, we don't have IPv4 anymore, so let's encourage using IPv6 and let's give everyone that requests new IPv4 block also a block of IPv6. That's already done because people were getting those addresses but apparently not using. But that's why you see that growth in IPv6 in the country. So IPv6 is not a scarce resource, there's plenty of it. So it makes no sense to hoard that resource. So if you see a slight consolidation of IPv4 holders for IPv6, we see that many different companies have some IPv6 resources. IPv6 capacity is something different. You can hold IPv6 resources, but not necessarily using them. And that's a case for a lot of countries. If you look at the Nordic countries, you will see almost zero in Greenland to around 50% IPv6 capacity in Finland. So Finland is the first country in IPv6 capacity in the Nordic region. You might ask yourself why we see a range like 44, 52. It's because we use 3 different sources for this visual, and each source they use different methodology how to measure IPv6 capability. So Finland is really above the world average, and this is despite the fact that Finland has a very high number of IP addresses, IPv4 addresses per person, if you remember. And what we heard from our source, looking at Alexis, that this forum, so this community, played a big role in creating awareness about IPv6 and contributing to the success of that high number. So again, I'd like to thank you for that, and I hope you will continue doing this great job in that direction, because this is still not the end. So you can go even higher. IPv4 transfers. While we say, yeah, in Nordic countries we have basically enough addresses, but it doesn't exclude transfers, that companies want to transfer resources between themselves. Transfers became available per policy again in 2012 because of that scarcity of IPv4 resources. And interesting fact that the first transfer was between two companies in Norway. So the Nordic countries were here also like pioneers. However, if you look at Finland, it's a bit lower on the graph. Finland is not very active in the transfer market. And the most transfers are happening between Finnish companies. So by the way, if you have questions along the presentation, you can easily ask them. So I think this is a very easy setting, so it doesn't have to be very formal. Now I want to switch into a different topic, and it's about connectivity. We looked at the data from RIS, it's also one of our services, to see how networks in Finland connect with each other. So let me explain what you actually see here. So you see the nodes, these are networks, autonomous system numbers, which are represented by numbers. You see some of them are marked by number. That means that if you download the country report, you will see some explanation about these organizations. By the way, do you see your own company here on this slide? Your own S number here? So it's not geographical representation, so just to give you a picture. We limited those pictures to 250 networks because there are much more, but to make it normal, to make it easier to see, we limited. And the colors are the countries. So you see here the most colors are in red, representing Finland. So one interesting fact that two Finnish companies, it's FNU Finland and Suomi.com, they are not large holders of IPv4 addresses, but they provide connectivity to a large amount of other networks. So that's interesting. If you are from one of these companies, I would love to know why. Please come after this chat and we will have a talk. And now international connectivity. So you see on the, it's also coming from the RIS root collectors. You see on the Finland on the one side and international organizations on the left, or on the other side. So what is here interesting that Telia Finland relies on Arelion, which is former Telia, as their own upstream provider. And another organization that also only has one upstream is FUNet, and it's like university network, and they only link via Norwegian, similar organization in Norwegian. But if you see the other organizations, they have a bit of more diversity in international connectivity. So using another tool, another RIPE NCC measurement tool, RIPE Atlas. By the way, are here RIPE Atlas holders in this room? Wow, that's quite a few. I'm happy to see that. So you might find one of your probe location here on this picture. They are like purple dots. So find your own purple dot on this picture. What you wanted to see? Wanted to see how the traffic goes within the country and how much of traffic stays within the country. So if you look at Norway, almost all paths stay within the country. For Finland, also almost all, but some go to north in Norway, and I can see that well somewhere else, but also to big XPs in Frankfurt. So I know there is an explanation for that. Alexa, would you like to give that?
Not right now.
Okay. So come to talk to Alexa, or Alexa can explain to you about it after my presentation. So now, rural coverage over time. In a few minutes, my colleague Chirke will explain you all things RPKI, so I'm not going to do that. I only want to show you the statistics about RPKI coverage. So this comes from another tool which is called RIPE Stat, where you can have a lot of different interesting widgets. So you see one peak in 2019 for Finland here, and that was then Elisa signed a lot of roles for their resources. So how much impact can one company do? So if you also have IP resources that are not signed, you can do that and then look at in the RIPE Stat how it influenced the overall picture. So it's always nice to see how your work looks in a graph. It's a different situation for IPv6. For IPv6, we don't see much resources signed by ROR, which is of course natural because not all IPv6 that are in the country are deployed. So why would you do that if you don't use resources? You might ask yourself why we see that dips in the graph, and sometimes it goes up and then it goes down. That can be explained because when companies get a big amount of IPv6, so in percentage the absolute number grows, but in percentage it goes down. So that's why these strange things on the graph. So that were like just a few slides. The country report has much more information, much more explanation, much more interesting details. And here I would like to draw your attention to the tools that we have been using. So these are all RIPE NCC tools. You can read more about them if you find it interesting. I'm not going to go into detail, but it's worth exploring because they can be also very useful, not only for us in producing the reports, but also for your daily operations. We also use some external sources, and I would like to thank one special external source that we used here, that's your colleague Alexei. And we were very thankful to him for providing like some details, some local knowledge about the internet in Finland. Now a survey. So we run a survey once in a few years. It's very important for us to hear from you what you would like us to do, what do you think about our services. So please scan this QR code. I know I'm running out of time, but I want to pause here. I want you to scan this QR code and fill out the survey. In 2019, we had 250 people from the whole Nordic region. And we could see from the results that how different are countries in the Nordic region from other regions. So we need to know that. We need to know that because when we come to you, there's some engagement, there's some information. We want to know what you need from us. So please fill out the survey. You can win some prizes. You can even win free tickets to the RIPE meeting, which will be in Rome in November this year. So I hope it was interesting. I hope this talk inspired you to read the full report and to explore our measurement tools. And I hope to see many of you in Rome this year. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you, Elena. Oh, we have a question.
and this one will be a very important one. Hi, my name is Alexis and I'm from Finland. Are you staying for sauna?
I'll be there at the lake.
Great, that's the answer I
Yeah.
want.
Any other questions? Thank you again, Elena.
So I hope to hear more questions in the evening.
And if anybody needs a hardware RIPE Atlas probe, I have one with me which I could disperse to you. Of course, remember you can always use the software ones, which is a lot easier to obtain because you're not relying on us being able to have hardware, because the lead time on hardware currently